I'm Franny Hinkle, a student immigration specialist here at UK, and I'm going to talk today about OPT. OPT, or Optional Practical Training, is a benefit of the F1 status. It is not its own employment-based status, but a continuation of the F1 status. It is a way for students to augment what they have learned in the classroom with hands-on training and experience. There are three types of OPT. Pre-completion can be used before the program end date. Post-completion can be used after meeting all course requirements for a program. And the 24-month STEM extension is available to some students in certain major fields of study. I will talk more about the STEM extension later in this presentation. To be eligible to apply for OPT, a student must be maintaining F1 status, have been enrolled in the program for at least one academic year, and have not participated in 12 months or more of full-time curricular practical training in the program. When students have already done a full year or more of practical training required by the program, they have already gained the experience and do not need it to augment classroom instruction. It is rare at UK that a program would require 12 months or more of full-time CPT, but if you think this might affect your eligibility for OPT, speak with your immigration specialist. Training and experience during OPT must be directly related to the major field of study listed on the I-20. If you have questions about what jobs might qualify in your field, ask your academic advisor or the Career Center for guidance. A job offer is not required to apply, and students can change employers during OPT. Most students save their OPT eligibility to use as post-completion. The latest start date a student can request is 60 days after the program completion, and it can be for a period of up to 12 months. That means that with the grace period and 12 months of post-completion OPT, it can add 14 months to a program. Transferring the SEVIS record to a new school or changing education level at UK automatically terminates any approved OPT remaining. OPT can be granted for up to 12 months per education level going up, and the STEM extension can be granted for up to 2 times from separate periods of post-completion OPT. It is important to understand that program completion depends on the type of program. Programs that only have course requirements complete on the official end date of the final semester. Programs that have a research-only phase complete on the day the thesis or dissertation is accepted by the graduate school. After the defense, the graduate school allows up to 60 days for revisions. This is a different period from the 60-day immigration grace period following program completion. Program completion ends on-campus work authorization. Most students save their OPT eligibility for post-completion OPT. This is a timeline that describes the deadlines for application. USCIS will consider an application for post-completion OPT timely filed no earlier than 90 days before the program end date and no later than the last day of the 60-day immigration grace period following program completion. USCIS processing time is an average of 3 months. However, sometimes the processing time is much longer, especially during high volume times in the academic year. An application that is receipted before the grace period ends is considered timely filed, but the latest start date is also the end of the grace period. Sometimes filing this late is unavoidable or the best option, but it does mean losing time on OPT. Here's a scenario in which a student files late. Arun doesn't have a job offer or time to search for one until after he finishes school. He chooses the latest possible date to start his OPT, February 17th, which is the 60th day after his completion on December 20th. He knows that he will be legal to stay in the US as long as he has submitted the OPT application on time. He finally mails his OPT application on January 25th. On March 25th, Arun receives a job offer, but still hasn't received his EAD, so he can't work. Arun receives his EAD on April 10th, and it expires the following year on February 17th. Arun has lost 53 days of his 12-month OPT because his application was approved after the latest available OPT start date. F1 students can be eligible for up to 12 months of practical training per education level going up. This can be all pre-completion OPT, all post-completion OPT, or a combination of both. Students must request full-time OPT for post-completion and can request a period of full-time pre-completion OPT for school breaks or during a research-only phase. When students are enrolled in courses, they are only eligible for part-time pre-completion OPT. Each period of OPT requires a separate application with filing fee and processing time. Part-time OPT is capped at 20 hours per week. Full-time OPT is more than 20 hours per week and can be over more than one position. Immigration considers full-time to be anything that exceeds the part-time limit, even if the position is considered part-time by the employer. Part-time OPT is calculated at half the rate of full-time. 2 months of approved part-time OPT deducts 1 month of the total 12 months available. During OPT, the training can be paid or unpaid. Unpaid training should be more benefit to the trainee than to the company or institution. As an employer, the University of Kentucky requires pre-approval of a volunteer agreement before any individual can begin an unpaid position at the university. This process is done by UK's legal department. This is only for employment at UK. To recap, when still completing coursework, you can only do part-time when school is in session. After completing all coursework for a degree, you may do full-time. After completion of all requirements for a degree or course of study, you must do full-time. Students in a research-only phase of a program have a choice between pre- or post-completion OPT. During pre-completion OPT, a student may apply to work full-time, is not subject to the unemployment provisions, may still receive a program extension if otherwise eligible, may not apply for the STEM extension from a period of pre-completion OPT, is not eligible for the cap gap extension, even if the employer filed a petition that was received or approved. During post-completion OPT, a student must work full-time, is subject to the 90-day unemployment limit, may not receive a program extension. If eligible, may apply for the STEM extension, and may be eligible for the cap gap extension. Pre-completion OPT is a good option when there are more than 6 months of research remaining, or when it may take more than 12 months to complete the research. Post-completion OPT is a good option when a student wants to begin pursuing employment and training goals while finishing up the final stages of the dissertation or thesis. The 24-month OPT STEM extension is available to students in certain majors who have an E-verified employer willing to complete the I-983 training plan. The list of majors is available online. It is possible to apply for the STEM extension up to 2 times based on different degrees, and it is possible to apply based on a previous degree. But students who qualify must be in a period of post-completion OPT when the application for the extension is received. During a period of approved OPT STEM extension, students may volunteer, but this activity cannot be used to maintain status. Travel during OPT can be risky. If the F1 status is a non-immigrant status and requires intent to return to the home country, it can be more difficult to show this intent while employed in a potentially long-term position. Students who are attempting to re-enter the US after applying for post-completion OPT or the OPT STEM extension are expected to have a valid F1 visa stamp, I-20 signed for travel within 6 months of re-entry, a valid passport, I-797 receipt notice if the OPT application is still pending, EAD and offer letter from the employer if the OPT application has been approved. Be prepared to answer questions about non-immigrant intent when applying for an F1 visa renewal or attempting to re-enter the US. Students are not required to have health insurance during OPT, but we strongly advise remaining covered while in the US since medical costs here can be very expensive. Students who have completed their program and are on OPT have the option of continuing their student health coverage by contacting the Student Health Plan Coordinator by email. Students enrolled while on OPT are billed for the student health plan by student billing. Students enrolled while on OPT who have another health insurance that meets the minimum requirements can obtain a waiver. To apply for OPT, students must first request a recommendation I-20 from our office. There are instructions on our website on the F1 student employment page, and the request is made through ICAT. After the student selects the requested OPT dates, completes the e-form, and submits the request, the academic advisor for undergraduates, or the DGS for graduate students, will be sent a link to the form to confirm the program completion date. The student and the advisor or DGS should meet before the student submits the form to confirm expectations for program completion. Once the application is submitted to USCIS, these dates cannot be changed. The student fills out the I-765 application form and prepares the documents, including a copy of the OPT recommendation I-20 by themselves to send to USCIS. Make sure to use the most recent version of the I-765 form and to send the current amount for the filing fee. It is recommended to make a copy of the completed application and supporting documents before mailing it to USCIS. After the student mails the packet, USCIS sends an I-797 receipt notice with a tracking number that the student can use to check the case status of the application online. If the application is approved, the student receives the EAD in the mail and can begin working in the major field of study when the start date on the card arrives. Students may not begin working until the dates indicated on their EAD. Students may not begin work until the EAD card has arrived. Students may not have more than 90 days of aggregate unemployment during post-completion OPT. Plan ahead. If possible, apply at least 3 months before the requested start date. During OPT, UK continues to hold the CVIS record. The student should report any changes to their name, physical address, immigration status, departure from the US, or employment details within 10 days. Any period of OPT requires a separate application, filing fee, and processing time. If you have questions about the process, please contact us for more information. We want to help you achieve your academic and career goals. Thank you for listening.